another YouTuber apology video for a literal crime. Like, how do you say sorry for committing a federal crime? Sorry, oops. Let me take accountability. So if you guys didn't see, James Charles uploaded a apology video. I'm sure you did see. I made this video up late because I wasn't sure if I was gonna film about it, and then I decided I wanted to still talk about it because I had talked about this already on my channel, and I know that if I don't upload it like the day it goes up, it won't get any views, but I still want to talk about it, so here we are. James Charles has a pattern now of messaging underage boys on the internet and what he calls flirting with them, which also involves soliciting nudes and sending nudes to minors. And he really tried to ignore this. And once again, here we are because he couldn't ignore it because people were not going to let this go, and he decided to address it. It's always so disheartening when it takes an influencer this fucking long to address it. You know, he should have addressed it the last time it happened, which was not the first time. I filmed a video a couple months ago called James Charles, This is a Pattern, and where I kind of went over his pattern of messaging underage boys, how this wasn't the last boy wasn't the first boy that this happened with, and kind of discussing his pattern of how he speaks to these people that he's flirting with, and you know, said this is a pattern, like it can no longer be accepted. It doesn't matter if this child lied or not because they are a child and you are an adult. And again, it's a pattern. This isn't the first time it's happened. You didn't learn your lesson. And here we are again. More people have come forward. I believe 2 this time, if not more. So we're gonna talk about his apology and how it's not enough. Before I get into this video, subscribe to my channel, up every Tuesday and Thursday, and we do commentary, beauty, lifestyle, etc. It feels weird telling you to subscribe while I'm talking about a topic like this. So James Charles uploaded an apology video where, just like David Dobrik, he is wearing all black alone in the middle of the night. like is that the new sitting on your kitchen floor situation? Like, I'm alone and it's 1 o'clock in the morning. Like, I can't. And there's a few things from his apology I wanted to touch on, and then some more things I want to discuss at the end about how fucking serious this situation is and how an apology is not enough. Like, it's fucking ridiculous to me that this man committed a federal crime and has admitted to committing a federal crime, and he's doing a YouTube apology. Like, I'm sorry, what? Also, there's a whole fucking discussion to be had about the word accountability and how it has lost all meaning in YouTube, because saying you're taking accountability does not mean you're taking accountability. David Dobrik said the same shit, and like, I don't see you taking accountability. Especially James in this video, because he lays out every fucking excuse in the book, and we're gonna talk about it. First, I wanna talk about how he opened the video and blatantly said this wasn't gonna be like No More Lies. He didn't really prepare this video, although it's pretty clear he did prepare a lot for this video because he was reading off notes. And also how he wasn't going to be providing receipts for this video, but he also alludes to the fact that he has the receipts, and like, that's the issue. Do you know what that reminds me of? Actually, Kat, the journalist who broke the David Dobrik Dom RAPE story, actually tweeted that this is the exact same methods that Jeffree used when he did his Never Doing This Again video. He told the internet he had receipts. He alluded to having receipts, but said, I'm not going to show them, because what that does is it tells your audience, and it alludes to your audience, that you're being the bigger person, but that you do have the facts to back it up, but you're not going to show them. Which, like, I'm sorry, if you don't show me the receipts, I will never believe you have the receipts. And my friend and I were actually having a discussion about whether or not the receipts matter, because she said, you know, it doesn't fucking matter because these children are still underage, and, you know, in legal senses, negligence and ignorance is not a legal defense. You can't be like, oh, I didn't know they were 16 when you are flirting with or being inappropriate with a child. That is not a legal defense, so it doesn't matter if you have the receipts, because you still broke the law regardless of whether or not you knew or they lied. However, and I totally agree, what he did was fucking reprehensible and wrong, 100%. However, if I was in James's shoes and my only defense was that these children lied to me and I had proof that they lied, you could bet your fucking life I would be showing it to you. Because, well, yes, what he did was wrong. I do think it would be slightly less wrong. I mean, not really less wrong, but like it would add a little bit to his credibility if these children had lied. That's the whole question up in the air, is whether or not they lied. And he says he has proof that they lied and that he's not showing it. I don't believe that at all. If James Charles had the proof and could save his ass, he would 100% do it. Maybe he wouldn't, you know, post it in this video, but he would have leaked it online, or, you know, leaked it to a drama channel or something. Because I just don't believe that if he had evidence that exonerated him, I mean, it wouldn't exonerate him regardless, but if he had the evidence that proved that he was lied to, that I don't believe that he would just not show it to us. Like, it just doesn't seem fathomable to me personally. And again, I understand that either way he's in the wrong, whether they lied or whether they didn't lie. But I do think that it would give his fans something and the internet something to say, like, oh, these kids are lying. I don't think it would be right, and I don't think it would be the right thing to do, but I just don't believe that if he had receipts, he would not show them. Like, it doesn't make sense to me, and I think it's an easy thing to say you have the receipts and not show them when you don't have jack shit. And in one of the screenshots, he said, like, oh, I saved a snap, but you deleted it. And the guy was like, no, I didn't. So do you have this? Like, it sounds like you don't have the receipts. Just my 2 cents. Either way, he's a predator, so it doesn't really matter, but I just don't believe he has them. He also, includes a trigger warning in his video. And like, I just want to tell people that trigger warnings are great, but you need to tell people what the fucking trigger is, because people are triggered for different things. Are you talking about body dysmorphia? Are you talking about anorexia? Are you talking about like food issues? Are you talking about sexual assault, RAPE? What are you talking about? Because you can't just give an overall trigger. You have to tell people what the fucking trigger is. That's just like my own 2 cents of annoyance of like, people be like, trigger warning, and then they don't tell you what the fucking trigger is. So like, how do I know if I'm gonna get triggered if I don't know what the topic is? What's the topic that's gonna trigger me? And then James says he's not gonna make excuses, but then goes right fucking into victim blaming. He says, I'm not gonna make excuses, but then he says that they lied to him. He says multiple times in this video that they lied to him, which I fucking hate. Because again, he's telling you he's not gonna show the receipts, but he's telling you that they lied to him, which sure, is him. He's saying it doesn't matter that they lied to me, but he keeps repeating the fact that they lied to him multiple times in this video, which is victim blaming the victims, which first of all, think about how that's going to impact your fans who are victims of assault and what they are going to think about coming forward if this is the treatment they're getting from their with the treatment that people like them are getting from their idol. And second of all, if it doesn't matter what the excuses are, why the fuck are you giving me excuses? Stop saying that they lied to you. He said multiple times in the video, they lied to me. They DM'd me first. They sent me messages first. They were flirting with me first. And it's like, listen, James, if that stuff doesn't matter, don't fucking mention it. But he's smarter than that. He's mentioning it because he's trying to manipulate his audience, because he wants you to know that those things happened. He wants to separate himself from what happened and make sure that you know that it was these children who were going to him and not the other way around, and he was just lied to and taken advantage of. He said so many times in this video that he was lied to, so many, and it's because he wants to make sure that you know that he was lied to. Because let's be real, videos like this, I said it in the David Dobrik video, I'll say it in this one, they are not sincere, and they are not for the general public. They are for your fans. And when you look at the like to dislike video ratio on this video, it's fucking disgusting and disheartening, because people are taking this video, because if you watch it, it does come across, it's like David Dobrik's video, it comes across as a good video. I mean, he doesn't feel sincere at all in the video, but, and also if you haven't seen, there's a channel on YouTube called Observe. He is a body language expert, and he did a video analyzing the body language of James Charles in this video, and he personally said that he doesn't believe that James was sincere in this apology. He does it on tons of different influencer and YouTuber apologies. I will link his video down below because I think it's a great channel and I'm always watching him analyze shit. So he didn't think it was sincere, but James does hit on a lot of the points in the video. He does a good job of sprinkling in victim blaming, sprinkling in some, you know, sadness on his part, sprinkling in some key points. You know, he talks about power dynamics, he talks about age of consent and how it's his responsibility and how he fucked up, but he also glosses over a lot of things. And this is the same thing that David Dobrik did. Like their apologies, I feel like if you watch them simultaneously, they would be very similar, because again, they're touching on important points. They're talking about the topics that the general public is talking about, but they're not taking any real accountability. Again, James Charles committed a crime. Unless he's going to turn himself into the police, he's not taking accountability. There's no accountability that can be taken for you sending sexually explicit messages to children and soliciting nudes from these children. Sorry. He also says in this video that he immediately blocked the kids as soon as he found out they were underage, but in one of the screenshots you can see him sending messages to these children after he finds out that like one of their friends posted a screenshot of James Charles with a 16-year-old. And also, it's so important to look at how James speaks to these children. Even if they were of age, like, first of all, who the fuck do you think you are? You can see that while James doesn't think he uses his money and his fame to his advantage, he thinks he's hot shit, he's arrogant, he's a narcissist, and he expects people to do what he fucking says. Like, he says some rude ass shit to this child, and even if you look at the pictures, actually, there are screenshots of what he sent to these children going around. Here for the Tea posted them on Instagram, and her post was flagged for sexual solicitation, because that's what these pictures are. They aren't flirting, they are sexual solicitation. He is pressuring these children into sending him nudes, and even if these children weren't children, they are still people that he is pressuring into giving him nudes. In my first video where I talked about this pattern with him, I called him a fuckboy. I said this is pure fuckboy behavior. Like, he is sending rude and aggressive messages. He's being pushy, and that's exactly this. Apparently he has like some armpit hair fetish, which, like, I'm not here to kink shame, but that, like, to me, having like a body hair fetish with young children just feels icky. But he took a picture with like his one arm up to show his shaved armpit, and said it would literally take you 30 seconds to take a picture like this. And to me, that seems like he asked for that picture. That person probably made an excuse saying they were too busy because they didn't want to do it. Because as a woman, I can understand being in an uncomfortable situation and lying and making an excuse about why you don't want to do something. But then James comes back and says it would literally take you 30 seconds. So like, they clearly said like, I don't have time right now, I'm doing this and this. And he's like, it would literally take you 30 seconds to send this picture. Which again, like, you're pressuring these people into sending pictures to you, which even if they were of age, they are your fans. So you're wrong in every single aspect, and it just comes across as pushy. And if you read any of the other messages, a lot of them are like that. Like, it's not like an egalitarian relationship at all. It's him pressuring these people to send him pictures, which is gross. And then again, he says, these conversations shouldn't have happened, and then immediately follows it up with, but I trusted the information that was given to me, which is like, once again, him calling back to saying that the kids lied to him, which again, what he's doing here by calling them liars is not just, kind of giving you empathy for him and the fact that he was lied to, but it's also kind of making you question the credibility of these children. Because here's the thing, if they lied, here, we always say once a liar, always a liar. If you lie about one thing, you lie about other things. Lying is something that we as society can all understand. And by him saying that they lied about the age, it makes you question, what else are they lying about? You know, are they clout chasing? Are they doing this? Are they doing that? And like, you shouldn't, because that's fucked up, and because they are children that James Charles could have easily found their ages. If you look at any of their profiles on TikTok, you can find their ages on their Instagram. Also, I'm sorry, can we take a step back and talk about the fact that these children look like children? I don't care if you're into 18-year-olds. That's not what an 18-year-old looks like. They look like children. If you're into somebody that looks like children, maybe you have a problem, because he says like, oh no, it's starting to look like, or like, it does look like I'm into children, but that's not the case. However, there's podcast clips going around from him on the Logan Paul podcast where he literally says he's not attracted to older men, only younger men. So absolute youngest is 18, 19, he says on the podcast. But like, I mean, 18 is the absolute youngest person any adult should be dating. Why did you need to specify that, James? Because I'm sorry, like I said, at this point, it's a fucking pattern. You learned your lesson a long, long time ago for checking for ID and you still haven't fucking done it. And these are just the kids that have been brave enough to come forward. I do not believe they are all of them. I believe there are so many more out there. And while you're out here undercutting them by saying they lied about your age, other victims are out there not even bothering to come forward because they know that they're going to get the exact same treatment and James's fans are going to attack them. It's also interesting to me that he says in his video that he was reckless, because this is a literal term that Keemstar posted in a video on Twitter, and a term that a lot of drama channels and commentary channels actually used in their videos. It's in like the thumbnail of my video that he was reckless. And you know what? I no longer think he was reckless. I talked about it being a pattern and I talked about him being reckless, but I think reckless is too light of a word. I think reckless really underestimates just how bad what he did was, and I think reckless is just not the right word. He wasn't reckless, he was careful. He basically took a calculated risk and decided that he could get away with it. He has already gotten away with it so many times, and based on the likes and dislikes ratio on this video, he's going to get away with it again. And unless there is a police or FBI investigation that we don't know about, he's going to get away with it again. His apology video is being accepted. He's gonna be able to come back from this. And so I think that he wasn't reckless. He took a calculated risk in knowing that his fame and his power will allow him to do whatever he wants, and that no one will believe these children. And you know what? Based on the reception to his video, he wasn't wrong. I don't think he was reckless. I think he took a calculated risk, and I think he knew that, you know, first of all, he's talking on Snapchat where he knows the messages will disappear. Second of all, he has called these children cloud chasers and liars before, and they have come out before. And, you know, I also do think that I kind of want to do a separate video on this because I haven't had enough time to research it, but I do think that the Bye Sister video has really allowed James to pepper in some questionability on every single accuser that comes forward. The Seattle waiter issue kind of really went back and forth, and it kind of turned out that the kid was a little bit of clout chasey and that he was lying in some aspects. And I think it was just a situation where the kid was confused and James was not, like, I don't think he did anything super wrong, but he wasn't very nice to a kid who was confused about his sexuality. And because a lot of people see that as being a false allegation situation, and then after that, other TikTokers, or maybe it was pre-TikTok, other people came out and it turned out to be false allegations against him. But because of that, he can now kind of weaponize that to this situation and be like, but false allegations happened before, and his fans will believe that. Again, I want to do a whole video on kind of how Bye Sister really is helping James skate by on this video, or on this, I don't want to call it a scandal, this crime, this criminal activity he's doing, because I do think that it's important, but I just haven't had a chance to do all the research yet, so I might have to do that next week. Let me know what you guys think about that down below. Do you think that if Bye Sister never happened, would people be as quick to jump against the accusers as they are now? I mean, they are men, so obviously we know how men are treated as victims of assault. If this was young women, it might be totally different. But I do wonder what James's career would look like right now without Bye Sister and this happening. Because I do think that, I mean, even in this video, he says, you know, he talks about Bye Sister, he uses it to talk about lies and stuff against him. So I think he's able to kind of weaponize that experience and, again, and call these kids liars, and then kind of infer that the situation is similar in that he was wrong in some aspects, but like not too wrong, even though he committed a crime. Okay, we have to talk, this video is so long, I'm so sorry. I didn't think it was gonna be this long. We have to talk about I'm Desperate. I wanted to scream when he said I'm desperate, when his big fucking revelation was I'm desperate. So many people are desperate. Imagine if a rapist had said like, oh, I attacked these women because I'm desperate. And we were all like, oh my God, I feel so bad for you. Like, I'm sorry you're desperate, but your desperation drove you to commit a crime. And you're so desperate that now you're messaging children? I'm sorry, what? And also, let's talk, I also really want to talk about how his story doesn't add up. He said he was so desperate for a relationship and love. I don't know if James Charles is like dumb or what, but whatever the fuck he was doing on Snapchat is not a relationship. Now, I've been married for 12 years and been dating my husband for much longer, so maybe I'm just really out of the loop. But from where I stand, relationships don't start with dick pics. Just putting it out there. If he actually thought these were people he could like and form a long-term relationship with them, why is he starting out by pressuring them into sending him armpit pictures and by sending nudes and by soliciting nudes? Last I checked, sexual compatibility is just one aspect of a relationship, but you have to actually like the person. This is not how relationships are formed. Relationships are based on common interests. And he says, you know, I'm just looking for someone that can make me laugh and, you know, relate to. But where in there were you trying to relate to these people? Maybe you could talk to somebody for like a week first about their fucking life and their interests before you ask them for their dick. That might be a way to start a relationship, but I don't believe for a second he was desperate for a relationship. He was desperate to get off. He's like, I'm pretty sure he's like a virgin still. And I see why now, because he has no idea how to approach other people. And if he's looking for a relationship, he's never going to get one doing it this way. These are not how relationships start. Maybe Gen Z is doing shit differently. I don't fucking know. I am old ass bitch. But from where I stand, that's not how relationships work. You don't just add a stranger from your Explore page and then start soliciting nudes like right away and then be like, well, yeah, we're in a relationship now. Excuse me, what? No, that's not a relationship. I hate to break it to you. I just do not believe that James was looking for a relationship. I believe that he was looking for someone to sext and boost his ego. And he was just looking for some young people so that he could use his fame to get what he wanted. Because let me tell you, if he sent messages like that to people who didn't idolize him, they would tell him to go fuck himself. Like, it doesn't add up. Taking away all of the criminal activity, that part still doesn't add up. There's no way you were looking for love in a relationship in these messages. Snapchat ain't it for you to find love, James. Find it some other way. And the fact that it was like some revelation that your Explore page is not a dating app is like, who the fuck are you? This is why I don't believe that he didn't know anything about power imbalance, because I'm sorry, the only reason you can use your Explore page as a dating app is because of your fame and power. Because the rest of us who get creepy men in our DMs to say, hey, what's up, get ignored because they're nobody. But if James Charles was in some boy's DMs who knew who James Charles was and said, hey, what's up, he would reply because he was James Charles. You think they're replying to every man in their fucking DMs? Absolutely not. But you're getting responses because of who you are. And I don't believe for a second you're that fucking stupid to not know that. And then once again, when he talks about power imbalances, he literally says, they messaged me, they lied to me, they flirted with me first. Again, he's victim blaming, and I think it's absolute bullshit. He needs to have more respect for these children who he victimized. He called them victims in his video. He's admitted to sending them nudes. Yet here we are watching a fucking YouTube video of him apologizing. Like, it's just like, what is this fucking world? We're at a place in life where this man has committed crimes, admitted to said crimes. There are victims out there, and he is just living free in his fucking mansion, making apology videos, admitting to committing crimes on the internet. Like, this is not a joke. This is not like any of his other fucking scandals. This is a crime. It just, like, it blows my mind, and I'm so terrified to see whether or not he just gets to move on with this. Like, I feel like David Dobrik got more backlash than James has gotten, and you know, David Dobrik was involved in a major crime and he did kind of set up a major crime, but James Charles committed a major crime. And I just think that because his victims are men, we're not taking this as seriously. And it's fucking upsetting, and I feel so bad for the victims out there and any other victims who didn't come forward yet and are watching what's happening and watching how people talk about the victims, and the children in his comments praising him for taking accountability. Like, this is not accountability. And I just think that because his subscriber base is so young that he's gonna get away with it. And I want to take this time to say every fucking influencer who is collabing with him needs to get their shit together. You know, he just did a video where he bet his friends $100,000 on fucking Mario Kart, and I saw that Manny MUA and Gabriel Zamora were in that video. You know, at least with Charlie and Dixie D'Amelio, I can be like, okay, they're children, they're not as responsible for their actions. But Manny MUA is a fucking grown-ass man, and so is Gabriel Zamora. You need to check your fucking friend. And you too, Tati, because the last I heard from you that you and James were still friends. So you people need to check your friend and step away from your friend and stop putting that man in front of your audience, because you have a responsibility and you're not doing anything by doing fucking collabs with him after everything that has happened. I just think James didn't post this because he wanted to. James posted this because, just like David Dobrik, he started losing things. He lost his instant influencer position, and he knew that he could do this half-assed apology, an apology for committing a fucking crime that has victims, and just move on with his life. And I don't think it's okay. I don't think he deserves to keep his platform, and I don't think he deserves to keep his monetization. And I think YouTube needs to step the fuck up and make a decision and tell their entire platform that they care about the victims and that they care about what James did, because they need to demonetize him, just like they did with David Dobrik. He committed a crime. A crime. So I guess those are my thoughts. I don't know how to end this video because James Charles has a fucking problem, and I do not believe for a second that he's not attracted to young children. I'm sorry. Like, it's too much at this point. He needs to seek professional help, because doing a YouTube apology is not enough. And I truly don't believe that he'll be any safer or any better if he takes some time off YouTube. Like, even if these children were older, were like 18, the message that he's sending is still inappropriate, and he still doesn't understand what a relationship is or how to talk to other people respectfully. And he, I mean, deserves to go to jail, but also has a fucking problem. And that's all I have to say. Let me know down below what you guys think. Did you watch the apology video? How disgusted are you on a scale of 1 to 10? Do you hope he goes to prison? Do you hope he leaves YouTube or gets deplatformed? Will Morphe ever cut ties with him? We all know that's fucking no. They just cut ties with Jeffree. So yeah, let me know down below what you guys think. This is a fucked up situation, and I just know that more is going to come out, and an apology is not enough for what he did. So thank you guys for watching, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye!